Today's What Is It isn't really a mystery. Everybody knows this is a hand mixer. Egg beater, call it what you want. Invented in the early 20th century to update that tedious task of beating an egg, or I guess whipping cream. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to test it against its predecessor, the bowl and whisk, which would have been used from the 18th century since the first egg was whipped. And then we're going to test it against the darling of the late 20th century, the Sunbeam Mixmaster. And we're going to test it against the icon of today's countertop, the KitchenAid Classic. So stay tuned and we'll see which one works best. So leading off in this battle of the decades, I'm going to start with the hand mixer. Got the clock here so everybody will be able to see elapsed time. The test is going to be the same. I've got 1 cup of refrigerator cold whipping cream, and then I'm just going to put it in there, and the goal is to whip it to soft peaks without over whipping it, because if you over whip it, we end up with butter. So I'm just going to start here and see how we do. See if we can get whipped cream out of this little hand crank mixer. And if we can, how long it takes me to get there. I can really feel it. You can definitely feel it's a different turn than when it's just empty. It's kind of hard to see what's going on in there. I'm gonna go the other direction for a while. Well, I think I'm slower that way. I made a mess. It's still a little runny. It needs to be stiffer than that. It's getting harder to do. Oh, now it's getting really hard. Ah! Okay. Just like that. Stiff peaks. That was quick. It was quicker than I thought it was going to be. All right, I'm back. Now we're going to test the whisk and bowl with 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. And I have never actually whipped cream with a whisk before, so I have no idea how long this is going to take. Looks like we are at 253 and go. My arm is starting to burn. All right, that's about the point we had gotten the other one too, so. I don't want to put that over my head because I just loosened it up. Now we're going to use the Sunbeam Mixmaster. I've got a model, this is probably from the 1990s, maybe even the early 2000s. This is the 75th anniversary edition of an American classic, I think is what they call it, something like that. But it's the more modern version of the heritage Sunbeam Mixmaster. I just had it, it was clean, and I know it will do this task. Mixmaster whips cream on 9, so here we go. You can hear the motor as the cream gets thicker and you see the bowl slowing down. Oh, needs a little more time. Give it a little stir. There we go. Nice stiff peaks. Okay, next we have the reigning queen of the countertop, the KitchenAid Classic Stand Mixer. We all know this is going to whip cream because we've all done it a million times, but will it do it any faster than any of those other methods? That's what I don't know. So let's put our cream in there, drop the motor down, and see if it will. All right, let's check it and see how we did. It's pretty easy to over whip with this thing, so. But we've got, that's a little soft. Not putting that over my head quite yet. There we go. Now that's what I would call stiff peaks. That I'll put over my head. All right, so we knew that was going to work, and it did. I've got one final surprise guest, and then we'll compare all of our results. This is a whipped cream siphon. I have used this a few times before. It uses science, which I guess they all use science, really, to whip cream. But this should be super simple, and it will hold exactly 1 cup of cream. So it works with our experiment here. I just put its lid on. Now here's the secret with this. It uses a gas cartridge that looks like that. It's just like making SodaStream, but with cream. I just discharged all that whole cartridge of gas into there. I can feel the can just got really, really cold. And then there's our whipped cream. That was super fast. Let's go through now and compare our results from each method. I'm going to tip it out on a plate so we can kind of see how much volume we got. It was the same amount of cream in every one, so you would think we would get the same amount of whipped cream. So that is the cream siphon, very fluffy cream. Here is the KitchenAid mixer. This cream is lovely. It feels a little denser. I don't know if it's because I whipped it a little more or whether it's because it just didn't get quite as much air in. Here is our Mixmaster. Best thing about a Mixmaster, you get to lick the beaters. It did a beautiful job. Looks about like the cream from the KitchenAid. Not a lot of difference there. Here is the cream from the old-timey. Don't think we got nearly the volume from this, and it's not as thick. Maybe that's because I got lazy. Yeah, that could stand more whipping time. I don't know that these were actually made for whipping cream. I think most people used them just to beat eggs. Here's our standard bearer. This is the cream I whipped with the whisk. I will tell you, I whisked that cream by hand for the love of YouTube. I would never whisk cream by hand again. That was exhausting. So there we have all of our whipped cream. The soda fountain, I think is, for me, it's the winner. It's what I would have used. It's what I'll keep using. The 2 electric mixers did a great job. They were pretty easy. They took about the same length of time. The whisk and the little egg beater, not as well. The egg beater particularly, I think it may have just been too small, and I really had a hard time turning that little crank. If I didn't have an electric mixer or if the power went out, I'd probably just use a whisk.